Creativity Through the Curriculum by Millie Batty. Creativity enables a person to use their personal opinions, imagination, and experiences combined to create something new or gain new ideas. DeSaley, 2012. Using a creative curriculum will inspire and motivate teachers within their practice as it produces new insights and ideas. Jones and Wise, 2013. A creative curriculum is important to allow children to shape the world in which they grow, as they grow beyond restrictions and find new resolutions to problems. Wilson, 2014. Possibility thinking. Possibility thinking is important for children to be able to learn creatively. Kremen et al., 2016. They will pose new questions from having more of an open mind where they wonder about the world around us. Jeffrey and Kraft, 2003. The dynamic interplay between teaching and learning is important as it needs to be conceptualized and recognized. Providing the children with an enabling context in which they can further their learning is enabled within a creative curriculum. Bernard et al., 2006. Here we have an evidence-based model of possibility thinking by Bernard et al., 2006, page 257. You see here that we've got the learner and the teacher, and in the middle we've got posing questions, play, immersion, innovation, risk-taking, being imaginative, and self-determination. All of this combined allows an enabling context for possibility thinking. Being imaginative. It was important that the children were being imaginative to be able to have a creative curriculum. A skill needed is for psychoanalysis to interpret dreams to understand the true meaning. With this in mind, when dreaming, the mind uses its imagination to create pictures and stories within the mind. This is a way in which children can use their imagination and interpret this into their own creative thinking. This is Freud, 1930, cited in O'Connor, 2016. Here is a summary of our weekly planning, week 1 to 6. We met every week to ensure that we all knew what we was doing and what the children were going to be learning. Consent letter. It was highly important that we created a permission slip for the parents. This ensured that the parents could choose whether their children would be filmed or not. It also allowed the parents to be involved by knowing what their children are doing in school. It is important for schools to include parents and ensure that they know what is happening within the school. Chun and Duval, 2019. Group meetings and week 1 planning. Here is where we have had our group meetings and we have discussed what we are going to be doing each week. The Teacher Standard 1. Engaged, inspiring pupils. We inspired and engaged the children by maintaining their attention, asking questions, and creating a valuable experience. This is the Department for Education, 2011. English and creativity. Within the first week, we decided that English would be the most suitable subject to teach first. When teaching, we always ensured that we used the national curriculum so that we knew what requirements the children were going to meet. English can be taught creatively through developing knowledge about language in a creative context. We used the circus theme and developed the children's vocabulary through this theme. Kremen, 2015. Cross-curricular approach. An aspect which we decided to use was cross-curricular teaching. This is due to research which suggests that a narrow curriculum will limit the children from reaching their full capacity. Hickley and Hudson and Heppel, 2020. A cross-curricular approach enables a synthesis of knowledge which allows the ability to explore through wider experiences and materials. Here's 2010. In addition, Resnick, 1989, cited in Froebel et al., 2018, explains that cross-curricular approaches encourage children to be committed and excited about their learning, thus allowing the children to have a value of education and to apply their knowledge to the different subjects. Icebreaker. It was important that we used icebreakers to start to establish a relationship with the children. Icebreakers encourage student engagement. Dreyer, 2002. Research implies that having a good relationship with the children can make the children feel valued within the class. Hughes and Kwok, 2007. Having a positive teacher-student relationship enhances the children's language, social, emotional, and cognitive development. Conto et al., 1997. Creativity. Creativity is possible and expected of children, says Kraft, 2010. Fostering creativity within education can address many concerns. Shaheen, 2010. The notion of creativity may be culture-specific, which poses the educators with dilemmas of principle and pedagogy due to the possible social, environment, cultural and ethical limits surrounding a creative education. Kraft, 2010. Week 1. Behaviour. The school's behaviour policy stated that if the children misbehaved, they lost golden time. We respected their behaviour policy and incorporated their sanctions into our lessons. It was important that we manage behaviour effectively to provide the children with a safe learning environment where clear routines and rules were set. DFE 2011. Bandura's 1963, cited in Lunenburg et al. 2007, explains the theory of role modelling as a powerful teaching strategy as it allows children to associate their work with key examples and understand the nature of task. Here's our group evaluation and our week 1. It was highly important that we created a bond with the children as we were new teachers and the children needed to know that they can trust us. It is highly important to establish a strong teacher-student relationship, which ensures that children are mentally healthy, motivated and involved. Kidger et al. 2012, Skinner et al. 1993 and Plenty et al. 2014. We use PowerPoint to present to the children what they are doing. This is not my usual technique, so it's interesting to teach in a different style. Semenov et al. 2005 suggests that using ICT in the classroom has been found to have a strong relationship with child-centred learning, allowing the children to direct their learning and teachers to follow, which in hand promotes a more supportive school environment. Week 2. Here's our lesson plans and some pictures from the lessons. English as additional language. The school in which we were in was high in EAL children. Research presents that children must clearly understand vocabulary so that they can correctly apply it in their learning. McCauley, 2011. Thus explaining the importance of practitioners adapting work for all children. Inclusion has many different meanings and cannot be subject to one definition. Artile et al. 2006. Inclusion has been reflected metaphorically in literature as a journey. INSCO 2000 in 2005. The National Curriculum Department for Education 2014 mandates that there should be no barriers for children's learning. Practitioners must ensure that specialist equipment is provided if needed, and the lessons should be planned to full effectiveness. Through assessment of work, I noticed that one of the young boys were struggling to understand the task. After speaking with the boy, I realised that he only knew basic English and had just moved to the country from Romania. With his bilingual peer, we modelled the language to ensure that he understood what he was doing. EAL children require rich support to develop the English language skills and knowledge necessary to access the curriculum. Modelling the language for the children is an effective method which supports these students with a diverse culture and educational background. Nigan and Williams, 2019. Plenary. A plenary is important for us to understand what the children had learnt within our sessions. It allowed us to see if we had to adapt any further lessons to recap. This was because the plenary helped to recap the children's own memory of what they had learnt, as new ideas came to their mind. Lash 2003 discusses that children in a child-led setting gain a sense of responsibility for their own learning, and by following children's interests, it motivates them to learn. Group evaluation and reflection, week 2. It was very important this week that we used our English knowledge to ensure that children were adding important grammar and punctuation with their work. As the DFE 2011, page 11, explains that teachers must impart knowledge and develop understanding through effective use of lesson time. Vygotsky's zone of proximal development theory highlights the difference between what a child can achieve independently and what they can achieve with the support of a more knowledgeable other. This is in Gook, 2007. Week 3. Physical education. Outdoor learning can develop in many different ways. The skills children will develop are social skills, teamwork, physical skills, communication skills, knowledge and understanding of the environment, self-confidence, motivation and concentration. Rosalian, 2012. I found teaching physical education the easiest in terms of creativity. This because we were practicing skills for the circus, such as juggling, dancing, balancing, throwing and catching. Having a theme enabled the children to have a purpose for their learning. Having a purpose for their learning allows the children to see the use and value of what is being taught. Cox, 2011. A problem with working creatively may be that the creator invents a problem themselves where there may not have been a problem to start off with. Starko, 2014. Thus meaning that because the children are working in a new way, they may be anxious, causing them to overthink about the problems. Week 4. Creativity and mathematics. Working in a group and talking with partners during mathematics can be beneficial for students' learning and understanding within mathematics. Mercer and Sams, 2008. Bruner, 1964, cited by Drews et al. 2009, explains his 3 modes of representation. Are experiences which are seen as crucial for the children's understanding. One of these is the inactive mode, where the children's ideas are undertaking actions and manipulating physical objects. The iconic mode is which represents these ideas using imagery. And finally, the symbolic mode, which is utilised using symbols or language. This is where the practitioners use the children's experiences to enhance their learning. We use this through creating a circus top. We had to measure and create a cross-curricular approach. The topics we used, design and technology, and mathematics. This allowed us to teach mathematics creatively. Personal reflection. Next week, I would like to further my development as a teacher through giving feedback to the children. Smith and Higgins, 2006, explains that feedback influences in-depth discussions, allowing children to reflect on their learning and identity, suitable improvements so that they can reach their full potential. Vygotsky, 1976, cited in Ramani et al. 2020, discusses that activities with adults contribute to children's knowledge as they are supported with learning new information and in supporting their skill development. Week 5. Design and technology. The children had decided that they wanted to make masks. This was through discussions within the plenary. Toro et al. 2013 explains that a child-centred approach includes active involvement of the child in planning the activities as they are part of the decision-making process. Toro et al. 2013. We followed the national curriculum to ensure that the children were being taught age-appropriately. We needed to ensure that the pupils were being taught the following: generate, develop, model and communicate their ideas through discussion, annotated sketches. DFE 2013, page 3. Personal reflection. We wanted to ensure that all EA children were supported. It states that a teacher must have a clear understanding of the needs of all pupils, including those with English as additional language, and be able to use and evaluate distinctive teaching approaches to engage and support them. DFE 2011, P12. We ensured that these children were supported so that they could join in and have fun. This is something which the group had sadly neglected to do in previous weeks. We have grown a strong bond with the students and behaviour has been managed well due to these relationships. Week 6, final week. Teamwork. It was highly important that we worked together as a team to ensure that the children were provided with the best opportunities for learning. Theoris Bandura, 1997, cited in Davidson 2019, discusses the effectiveness of teachers planning together as the combined efforts help to create a positive experience for children, which then leads to improved learning from the children. In addition, we tried to plan activities for the children where they had to work together. A study discusses that children also value the experience of learning in teams and they enjoy learning valuable teamwork skills. Freeman and Mackenzie, 2002. Assessment of learning. A method that we used was thumbs up and thumbs down. If the children understood what was being taught, they would put their thumbs up. If they didn't understand, they would put their thumbs down. A good practitioner continuously encourages children's learning through assessing in their understanding. Bonnet, 1994. Assessment happens every day in classrooms, and assessment should occur within the successful practice. Earl, 2012. Personal reflection. On the final week, we used this week to finish off the masks in art and filmed the performance of The Greatest Show for the physical education. It was a good opportunity for us to ask the children for feedback of what they have enjoyed and what their least favourite part was. Reflecting on their work allows children to reproduce the activities we have used and reflect on how to extend their learning further. Askew, 2004. Effective teachers work creatively to balance the teaching of knowledge. understanding and skills, Kremlin 2009. When teaching creatively, we ensured that the children were receiving teaching and learning appropriately, but in a more fun and effective way. Conclusion. I really enjoyed experiencing a creative curriculum. This was due to seeing the benefits of the children's overall development through providing a fun and active way for them to learn. Having a theme allowed us to teach creatively, as well as the learning which was based around the topic. Research from Craft 2010 was very important as their reading allowed me to have a good understanding of what a real creativity classroom should look like. I have also benefited from working in a Year 3 class, as this is a new experience for me which I have thoroughly enjoyed. Here is my reference list. Thank you.